Hi, yes, hello. You can see my stacks behind me. This is a terrible intro. We're back with another video. But you can see my stacks behind me over here. You can see that I am missing a stack. Well, missing's not the right word. I have moved that stack over here. You can see it on my bookshelf. But because I have this room in my stacks, and because I want to make a huge dent in my TBR over the next year, I am going to refill this spot with a stack of, I think, 20 self-destructing books. If you don't know what a self-destructing book is, the first channel that I saw do this was Becca in the Books, I think is what she calls herself. And you basically pick a certain amount of books and a set time frame, and if you haven't read those books, or at least attempted them, by the time that time is up, then you have to get rid of them. So I am going to go downstairs to my big bookshelf that was until very recently primarily unread books, but is now like half and half read, half unread, and not new. I think it's the best way to describe them. I'm gonna go pick 20 books off of that shelf and bring them up here and put them in a stack. And if I haven't read them by the time we get to next August, then I have to get rid of them. Well, yeah, we'll do next August. So let's still pick the books and I will show you what I chose. So we are primarily going to be picking from this shelf and this bottom shelf in these stacks that you can't really see most of. So I'm gonna time lapse through the next little bit and then we'll go upstairs and talk about them. Okay, this is the stack. You can see I managed to get the 2 stacks that were over there down to 1. And then I also ended up getting rid of a book. So this was good. I just now realized that I didn't even look at the top of the shelf, but that's fine. We will just act like that doesn't exist. So we're gonna head back upstairs and I'm gonna show you all the books that I picked. Okay, we are back. I am going to show you the book that I'm ending up unhauling first. That is The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. I also had The Lost Hero. I tried reading The Lost Hero, I didn't like it, and I just think I've grown out of him, unfortunately, so we're gonna get rid of this one. And then starting with the hardcovers so that the stack is stable. I have 2 Karen Slaughter books. I have Pieces of Her and The Last Widow. I have read 1 Karen Slaughter book and I liked it okay, but I felt like it was very long. So that's why I put these 2 on here. I think I got both of these at a library book sale, so like I didn't spend a ton of money on them. I probably spent like 50 cents or something. But I want to try them out, see if they're worth keeping. Then I have The Crowning Glory of Calla Lily Ponder by Rebecca Wells. This, I think, is part of... I thought that this was part of the Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, which I read and remember really loving, but I'm not seeing if that is true. So I don't know if that's true, but I bought this because I read that book and liked it, but it's been like 4 or 5 years now, so I think it's time I get to this. I apparently paid $6 for it. I don't know where I got it from. Probably a used bookstore. Another one, I think I got it at a used bookstore. It has the same type of tag and it says I paid $7 for it. That is Nine Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. I have not read Big Little Lies, but I've heard it's very good, and that's why I bought this one. I know nothing about either of them, so I want to make sure I get to this one too. It's been sitting on my shelf for a long time and it's taking up a lot of space. Then I have two that I think are going to make some of you very angry, but I just have not been having a good time with Brandon Sanderson. I've read like 5 of his books and not liked any of them more than enough to give it a 3-star. Like, nothing has gotten higher than a 3-star for me, and nothing is very memorable except for Mistborn Era 2, and I didn't like it enough to keep going when the library took away my hold for like the 3rd book. So I have Trust of the Emerald Sea, which I have been told is different than what I've tried to read, so we will see. And then The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, which is completely separate. And it sounded like something I would like, but everybody else who likes Brandon Sanderson and has read these didn't like this one. So we'll see if that's a sign that I will like it. And I think the last hardcover that we have is Mrs. Fletcher by Tom Perrotta, or Perrotta, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I legitimately only bought this because I liked the name. We'll leave it at that. I don't know anything about Tom Perrotta, and the only thing that I know about this book is it's about a divorced mom. So it's been taking up a lot of space because it's a hardcover, so we're just going to try and get to it in the next year. Now moving into the paperbacks, I have Freedom by Jonathan Franzen, who wrote the corrections. I also own the corrections, and honestly I should have put that one on here because it's also a massive hardcover that I've had for years. But here we are. We're going to read this one first, unless I look into it and it says that I need to read the other one first. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but it's been on my shelf for ages, so it's time to get to it. And then I talked about Wicked at one point this year. I don't remember which video it was in, but I didn't like it, so I got rid of the other books that I had in that series, but I also have this one, which is not part of that series. I think it's a spin-off. This is Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister by Gregory Maguire. And as the title would suggest, we are reading about Cinderella's stepsisters in Holland in the 17th century. So we'll see if his writing gets any better for me in this one. That was a large part of the problem with Wicked, but I don't have high hopes for this. We actually have another book by him in here, I think. Hang on, let me dig it out. We do. This is What the Dickens by Gregory Maguire, and this is the ARC version of it. When I was in middle school, I got a box of ARCs from the library to read one summer, and I ended up only reading a couple of them. I didn't know what I had at the time. Now I know that ARCs are important and hard to get your hands on as a regular reader, but it looks like I picked this up and tried reading it. I got to page 21 and quit. I remember the writing being hard to follow in this one too, so we'll just have to see if it works out. And speaking of ARCs, that is a running theme with some of these books. Let me pull them all out. So I've got these 4 books that are also ARCs from that same box and same summer. So these have been on my shelf for close to 20 years at this point. Well, no, not 20, more like 15, 10 to 15 years. But we have The City in the Lake by Rachel Neumeier. Don't know anything about it. Playing with Matches by Brian Catcher. Also don't know anything about it. Hero by Perry Moore, and Stop Me If You've Heard This One Before by David Yu. I really don't know anything about these. I know that maybe like a year ago or so I looked up the descriptions of all of these because I was going through them because I had more than this. But I went through them and I looked up all the descriptions to see if they were even remotely something that I'd be interested in or if they had good ratings online, and these were the 5 that made the cut. So they're going on my stack. Next up, we have The Princess Bride by William Goodman. I watched Books and Lala read this a year or two ago, and she did not give it a glowing review, and if I'm being quite honest, the review she gave it made me not want to read it. So we're gonna try it, and I don't have high hopes of holding on to it, or even making it through the book, if I'm being completely honest. So we have Fieldwork by Misha Berlinski. I'm pretty sure I bought this when I lived in Nebraska. I bought it from my favorite used bookstore there, and it was one of the staff picks. So, as I was saying, this is one of the staff picks from that book, from that bookstore. However, I have not lived in Nebraska since 2020, and I still haven't read it. So it's high time I get to it. I think it has a mystery in it, and maybe that's why I've held on to it so long, because I like mysteries, but that doesn't mean I need to hold on to it for this long. And then I don't know how I got this book. It's In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. I don't know how you say his name either. I know I borrowed a copy from my brother, and I ended up giving him that copy back because I ended up with this copy. I don't know where I bought it. I don't know why I bought it. I don't think I'm interested in it, but I feel bad getting rid of it because it's such a beloved classic, and it's a murder mystery. I don't know if it was like based on a real story or not, but we're gonna try it. And then we have The Night the Lights Went Out by Karen White. I believe my mom tried to read this, and the reason I have it is because of her, because she had 2 copies, so she gave me one. And she said it sucked. And that I should just get rid of the copy she gave me. But I decided not to. I decided to go ahead and try it. So I don't know why I'm holding on to it. I should just try it and see if I need to get rid of it or not. Then we have another, I think it's a classic. Maybe not, maybe like a modern classic, I don't know. But it's A Piece of the World by Christina Baker Klein. She was the author of Orphan Train, if you know what that is. I don't know what that is. I also don't know what this book is, so yeah, we're gonna try it. Then I have this really nasty copy of Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut Jr. I actually had this listed on Pango at one point and realized that I have like a somewhat rare edition of it. I don't remember why I thought it was rare. But it also has like a hole cut out of the cover and like a water stain. So like even if it is a rare edition, I'm not gonna get much money for it at all. So I figured I might as well read it. I have read Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, and I did like it. So I might like this. Won't know until I try. But either way, if I do end up liking it, I'm gonna get rid of this one. I think this copy actually kind of smells, if I'm being honest. So I might end up just getting a different copy entirely. And then the last book I have, I think also, yes, this also comes from the used bookstore that I used to go to in Lincoln, Nebraska, and again, I haven't lived there since 2020. I don't think I shopped at that store before or after 2019 because we were so broke. So this needs to get tried and move along. So yeah, that is the last one. Let me count them up, make sure I have 20. we actually have 21. So I have a year from now to try these books, and if I don't try them, they have to go regardless. If I do try them, I can keep them if I like them. And hopefully this will help get that number down. My goal for this year is to be under 400 unread books on my TBR, and we are chucking away at that, making good progress. I don't know if I'll make it to 400. I think I was at like 460 something the last time I did an unhaul. So look for that update in my August wrap up. I'll give you some stats of where I'm at for that number, but I would ideally like to be under 300 by the end of next year. And so getting through these stacks will definitely help. I think there's 100 books total in these stacks. So yeah. And then once I get through these, we'll make a new stack. And hopefully there won't be as many books, because hopefully I'll be at the point where most of my books have only been on my TBR for a couple of years, and I'm still excited about them. So thank you for watching, and check back for updates on these stats if you're interested. If you don't have anything to say, leave me a waffle emoji for breakfast of champions, or a blood drop emoji for in cold blood. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.